Hello and welcome to Lesson 1 of Mastering Adobe Lightroom. My name's Julia. I've been a photographer for nearly 10 years and I've been using Lightroom for nearly 8 years. And I really cannot imagine my life without it. It is a great software. In this course, I'm going to teach you all of the ins and outs of Lightroom. I'm going to start by introducing you to the basics of the software. And then, in other tutorials, I'm going to teach you how to import photos, create collections, and use all of the software's wonderful editing tools, such as color correction, white balance correction, lens correction, the adjustment brush, spot removal, radial filter, and graduated filter. I'll also teach you about presets and how to use them, and also, of course, how to export your images to your hard drive or to your online photo sharing service. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the fundamental Lightroom features and functions. I'm going to walk you through the Lightroom layout and go over some of the benefits of using the software. This tutorial is brought to you by Creative Online School. First thing first, what is Lightroom exactly? It's a workflow software for photographers. People use the application to organize, edit, and present their photos regardless of the file type. In this video, I'm going to focus on the organization and processing aspects of Lightroom. Once you've imported your photos into Lightroom, it should look something like this. This is your library, and it's where you're going to do most of your non-editing work. You can make some minor color and exposure adjustments in the Quick Develop pane, but nothing compared to what you can do in the Develop tab, which we will get to in a bit. Let's look at the keywords. Adding keyword tags can be really helpful, especially if you have thousands of photos in your image library. For this photo, I entered animals and squirrel as keywords. And Lightroom saves your tags, so if you need to use them again, you can just click what's already listed. In the metadata section, you can manually add information about your photos, and you can also look at the settings with which you shot the photo. And finally, you can add comments to your photos. The reason my library says comments not supported here is because I haven't synced this library with Lightroom Mobile. Yet. So, if you want to use this function, make sure you sync up. Now let's look at how useful keywords can be if you're working from a populated library. I'm going to look for my squirrel. If I type in animals, pictures with other animals show up. If I type in squirrel, the squirrel pictures come up. Now let's move over to the catalog panel on the left-hand side. Your catalog is your entire photo collection. You can view it in its entirety, or you can view only your synced photos or images from your previous import. You can also add photos to your quick collection by pressing the B key when the image is selected. The Folders pane shows you where the images in your Lightroom library are located on your internal or external hard drives. One of the best things about Lightroom is that it's a database, and none of the changes you make to an image with Lightroom will affect the original file. If you imported a group of images to edit from one folder, you can find that folder and work with all of the other images together and export them when you're finished. But if you have loads of folders and clutter on your hard drive, it might be easier for you to just make collections and collection sets. For example, if I were making a collection of photos about animals, I might make a collection set called Animals and then make a collection for each type of animal, as I did here. The Develop tab is located just to the right of the Library tab. This is where you're going to do all of your editing work. The tools are conveniently listed in the order in which users are more likely to use them. Starting with the basic adjustments, you can quickly make necessary changes to the color and lighting settings of your image. If you want to make more dynamic changes to your photo's tone settings, the tone curve is a good tool for that. HSL, color, black and white, and the split toning tool both affect the hues and colors of your images. Then, the detail tool allows you to zoom into part of your image and add or reduce noise. The lens corrections and the transform tab both help you fix distortion caused by your lens. Then, the effects pane is good to use when you're in the final stages of the editing process. And finally, there's camera calibration at the bottom, which is useful for gathering information about your raw files. Now let's move back to the top of the Develop panel and look at the local adjustments. The first tab on the left is the Crop and Straighten tool. The next tool is the Spot tool, which can be used to remove pretty much any unwanted object from your photos. The third tab is the Red Eye tab, and the last three tools are filters. These allow you to make changes to specific areas of your images. The first is the Graduated filter, followed by the Radial filter and the Brush filter. Congratulations! You have now finished the first lesson of the Mastering Adobe Lightroom course. You should now know enough about Lightroom's interface to get started. If you have any questions, please leave a comment and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. In the next tutorial, I will teach you about importing your files to Lightroom. This course is brought to you by Creative Online School.